Hi guys, Steve here in Palm Springs. I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot of Walmart in South Palm Springs. Right across the street from Walmart is an historic location. So how many of you remember drive-in theaters? I know those are kind of a thing of the past. At least here in California, we might have one or two left, but there aren't too many left in the country here in the US. I don't know if other parts of the world still have drive-in theaters. I'm guessing not. This is 2025, and drive-in theaters were very popular back in the 50s and 60s and maybe even the 70s, but they all started going away, I think, by the 80s and 90s. And as a teenager, I loved drive-in theaters. Well, even before, when I was very young, we had a big station wagon, and my mom and dad would load me and my brothers all into the car, and we'd all head out, and we'd all be wearing our PJs and head out to the drive-in theater every weekend, and it was really a lot of fun. And then as a teenager, I used to go with my friends, and that was a lot of fun, even more fun as a teenager, and I have so many really good memories of going to the drive-in as a kid. But I never went to the drive-in here in Palm Springs, and I don't even remember there ever being a drive-in theater here in Palm Springs. I only discovered the other day. I know we never went to the movie theater there. All the drive-in theaters that I went to were up in the suburbs of Los Angeles, not down here in Palm Springs. So the only reason I know about this now is because just by accident, or maybe it was just meant to be, a YouTube video popped up about the Palm Springs Pop Music Festival. And I'm like, what in the heck is that? I never heard of that before. So a guy named Tom has a YouTube channel called Discover This. And I don't think he lives here in Palm Springs, but he's come to Palm Springs a number of times. He must live here in Southern California. And he travels around exploring, discovering different things. And I think he's a music lover because he's done quite a few music videos on his channel. And he was telling the whole history of this Palm Springs Pop Festival here in 1969, and I'm like, how did I never hear about this? So I looked it up online after watching his video. It's an excellent video. Now, the 1969 festival was held in two different locations. So day one was held here at the drive-in theater, and then day two was held at the Palm Springs Angels baseball stadium, which is located in Sunrise Park. You may remember I did that video a few weeks ago where I walked around Sunrise Park and I showed you the stadium. Well, that's the stadium where day two was held. It wasn't consecutive. Day one was on April 1st, 1969. Day two was April 3rd, so there were a couple of days, there was a day in between the two. So Jeff Beck and Moby Grape were supposed to appear, but they didn't appear. In their place, Procol Harum appeared, and also the Flying Burrito Brothers. Also Graham Parsons, John Mayall, Lee Michaels, and the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. Remember all of them? And as well as Timothy Leary was here. I don't know if he was playing an instrument or if he was just here talking. He was very popular back in 1969. But that's who appeared right here across the street from Walmart back in 1969. And this is a piece of history I've never ever heard of before. And I just hate it when so much of our Palm Springs history just seems to be disappearing. So I like to, whenever possible, I like to share it on this channel to help keep the history alive. In 1969, 4 months before Woodstock took place in August of 1969 back in Woodstock, New York, we had our very own mini Woodstock right here in Palm Springs. Never heard about it. I was only 15 years old at the time, but still, I'm surprised that I didn't hear about it either before or after. And I'm also surprised that I don't remember the movie theater, the drive-in theater, because we used to drive by here all the time, and I don't remember seeing it. If I did see it, I just don't remember. I know we never went there, but I'm sure I would remember that, but I don't remember seeing the drive-in theater. So the Palm Springs movie theater opened here in 1969, and it closed in 1985. I guess just bad timing. The end of the 60s, the beginning of the 70s. I think the 1970s movie drive-in theaters were still pretty popular, but they were starting to wane, and by the 80s, yeah, they were definitely becoming less and less popular. Because by then didn't we have VHSs? And Blockbuster, where you could just go and rent a movie and watch it at home. And people started doing that instead of going out to the drive-in theaters. So it was located at 67601 Ramon Road, right here across the street from Walmart. Kind of a busy street here. You might be able to see right behind me is the Walmart here in Palm Springs. I'm on Crossley Road, so I thought I would come over here and get a closer look. I had no idea that this was ever here. This is on Ramon Road here at the corner of Ramon Road and Crossley, And I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna see, it looks like I can get, it's gated, but as you can see, part of the gate is not there anymore. So I'm gonna walk over here. Looks like it was maybe a business park more recently. This does not look like a drive-in theater. Back in the day, back in the 1960s and 70s, my grandparents were living down here, and we used to pass by here. This is Ramon Road. We used to pass by here all the time, hundreds of times over the years. So that's why I find it so strange that I don't remember this. But I don't even remember seeing the drive-in theater sign or anything as we drove by. I just can't believe my memory could be that bad. I was young, I was a teenager, maybe not paying attention, I don't know, or maybe I just forgot. I'm gonna walk down here, so I'm thinking this, obviously here, this is a parking lot. Does not look at all like a drive-in theater. I'm wondering if the theater was maybe on the other side of this parking lot. So let's walk down here to the end. Now, in recent years, I heard that this is more of a homeless encampment now, that a lot of the homeless people live here, but I don't see anybody here right now. But I do see, is this a security? Oh yeah, it says Agua Caliente Tribal Security, and he's coming over here, so maybe he'll be able to give me some information. Hello, is this where the drive-in theater used to be?
I don't know.
No?
I know they have a swap meet over there.
Oh, they still have a swap meet? Oh, so that's what those containers are?
Yes, sir.
And it's on the other side?
Yeah, the merchants store their stuff in those containers.
Oh, okay.
Saturdays and have a swap meet. This is all tribal land, so all this land is off limits.
Oh, so I can't walk in here?
No, it's all tribal.
Okay, what about over there?
It's all tribal.
Okay.
So you get on the other side of Landau, the bowling alley and all that.
Yeah.
You're clear over there, but the whole wash, all that stuff, bridge, all that, all this over here, all down here at Dinosaur, it's all tribal.
Okay, well, I'll walk around the outside then. So you're patrolling here because I heard this was a homeless encampment.
Yeah.
More recently. So is that why you're patrolling?
Yeah, and we get break-ins over there, so we patrol it, and we just and we get illegal dumping and everything.
Oh, really?
So they just made it off limits to everybody.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I just the gate was open, so I just came in.
It is, you know, they break into it. They go to do all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, if you're just going to be a couple minutes documenting that, you know.
Yeah, I was just going to walk around, tell the story, and then leave. I'm just doing a little video.
There's breaks in the fence over there too.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just walk over here if that's okay, and I'll just walk back over there, and then just on the outside. Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate it. So he was really nice. Apparently they still have a swap meet here on the other side of those containers, and this is private property. It's owned by the Agua Caliente Indians. And now, gosh, it's really windy right now, so hopefully you can hear me. All right, so I think this is it. I think this is where the theater was, right here. Interesting, isn't it? So that's the wash over there. On the other side of the bridge is Cathedral City. This side is Palm Springs. So he said I can get out the gates over here. Yeah, I don't remember what was here, but nothing here now. It's just kind of abandoned for now, till I'm sure eventually they'll develop it into something. Not only was it a drive-in theater, but there was also a pop festival. It was called the Palm Springs Pop Festival, and it was held here in 1969. It was actually the second year of the Pop Festival. The first year of the Pop Festival was 1968, and that was held at another drive-in, which was right on the border again of Palm Springs and Cathedral City, but it was actually in Cathedral City. It was at the Cathedral City Drive-In. Well, it was called Sun Air Drive-In, and it was on Highway 111. And once again, we drove by when I was a kid. We drove by hundreds of times, and I do not remember ever seeing a drive-in theater there on Highway 111 in Cathedral City. But it's actually located somewhere where I'm going to be going next week. I have to take my car into the Honda dealer for servicing, and that's where the drive-in theater was once located. So I'm going to make a video from there next week. Alright, so this is Ramon Road, a very busy road. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me without too much noise. I may have to wait until I get back onto a little bit quieter street. This pop festival here in Palm Springs actually happened 4 months before Woodstock. Did any of you ever go to Woodstock? So I was only 15 years old in 1969, in April of 1969. So I was just a little bit too young to hear about this or go to this pop festival here in Palm Springs. So I'm still surprised that I never heard about it, but I would have been too young to go anyway. I was only 15 years old. And I didn't hear about Woodstock until after it happened. It, you know, made headline news around the world after it happened. And so by the time I was probably 16, I heard about Woodstock, and I would have loved to have gone. That would have been so much fun. But then to find out that they had a pop festival like Woodstock, a lot smaller of course, right here in Palm Springs even before, and the pop festival, Palm Springs Pop Festival in 1968, I mean, that was a year. That was more than a year before Woodstock. I always thought Woodstock was kind of the first. I guess it was the biggest and the most memorable, but it wasn't the first. Palm Springs had 2 of the first pop festivals here in the US. And rather than make this a really long video, like I say, I'll go ahead and share information about day 2 of the festival in a second video. I'll go over to Sunrise Park and share that information there, where the event took place and where this event changed the course of history for a lot of reasons in Palm Springs. Day 2 wasn't as peaceful as day 1. Someone was actually shot, and according to one article, the 16-year-old teenager was killed. The other article said that he survived, so I'm really not sure which article was accurate, but even back then, it was difficult to get accuracy when it comes to the news. So if any of you have any information you want to add to this story, please share with us in the comments section. It would be nice to keep this little bit of Palm Springs music history alive, if only on this channel. So share your stories. If you happen to be there, that would be really awesome to know about what it was like to be there in person. I'm guessing anyone that was there is already in their mid-70s, maybe even 80 years old by now. So you can see how over time history can easily be lost. Do you have good memories of going to the drive-in theater when you were a kid? Feel free to share them with us in the comments section. It's always fun to read your comments, especially when you're remembering fun or interesting things from back in the good old days. As always, thanks for joining me today and for sharing the memories, everybody, and I'll hope to see you all in the next video.